Marcus Aurelius buried 2 sons, watched his co-emperor betray Rome, lost 3 major military campaigns, and spent 11 of his 19 years as emperor at war. He wrote about all of it, not for publication, for himself. What he wrote is still in print. Marcus Aurelius became emperor of Rome in 161 AD. He had not sought the position. He had been selected and groomed for it by his predecessor, Antoninus Pius. By all accounts, he would have preferred a quieter life as a philosopher. He did not get one. His reign was defined by crisis. The Antonine Plague killed 5 million people across the empire, including significant portions of his military. The Parthian Empire attacked in the east. Germanic tribes crossed the Danube in the north. His co-emperor Lucius Verus died in 169 AD, leaving Marcus to manage alone. Then his trusted general Avidius Cassius declared himself emperor in 175 AD, while Marcus was still alive. Marcus had trusted Cassius. He had given him authority over the eastern provinces. He had treated him as a partner. Cassius's declaration was a direct betrayal by someone Marcus had elevated. Marcus marched east. Before he arrived, Cassius was killed by his own officers. Marcus reportedly expressed regret that he had not had the opportunity to pardon him in person. Meditations was not written as a book. It was written as a series of private notes, Marcus speaking to himself, often in direct rebuke of his own weakness. What he wrote during and after the periods of failure reveals a framework for processing public loss that is more precise than anything produced by modern psychology on the subject. 3 principles run through the entries. First, separate the event from the interpretation. Marcus wrote repeatedly that things do not disturb people. The judgments people make about things disturb them. When Cassius betrayed him, the external event was a betrayal. The internal response was a choice. Marcus chose to process it as information about Cassius's character rather than as a referendum on his own judgment. Second, the role and the person are separate. Marcus struggled, visibly in the text, with the gap between the emperor Rome needed and the person he actually was on any given day. He wrote about exhaustion, about the temptation to withdraw, about the days when the work felt pointless. He never resolved this tension. He managed it by returning daily to the question of what the role required, independent of how he felt about it. Third, the public dimension of failure is a separate problem from the failure itself. Marcus lost battles. Those losses were reported, discussed, and judged across the empire. He wrote about the opinion of others with consistent precision. Other people's judgments are their business, not his. His business was the decision in front of him. Founders experience public failure differently than private failure. The failed product launch is not just an operational problem. It is a public event with a permanent record. The funding round that falls apart is not just a financial setback. It is a signal, visible to the market, about the company's trajectory. The standard response is to manage the perception, control the narrative, issue a statement. This is not wrong. It is incomplete. Marcus Aurelius's framework addresses what perception management ignores: the internal state from which the founder makes their next decision. A founder who has not processed the failure, who is running the next initiative from a position of unexamined shame, anger, or defensive rationalization, makes the same quality of decision as before. They have changed the story without changing the decision-making. The 3 practices that map from meditations to a founder context are precise. 1. Write about the failure privately before you address it publicly, not to produce the public statement, to separate the event from your interpretation of it. 2. Identify what was inside and outside your control. Most public failures are a combination of both. 3. Return to the work, not performatively, functionally. Marcus went back to the frontier after every setback, not because he was fearless. He wrote about his fear. He went back because the work was the work. Marcus Aurelius did not have good years and bad years. He had one long, difficult reign, which he navigated with more composure than any modern leader has managed under comparable conditions. He was not composed because he was exceptional. He was composed because he had a practice. The principle, public failure is an event. Your response to it is a decision. Train the decision before you need it. Follow if you want to become unbreakable.